Be able to feel y'all. I like that better. I know you guys want that concert feel, but that's not what we're doing today. So here's the thing. It's gonna run like a classroom, okay? And in this class, you are able to participate. We are not doing this thing where I'm up here doing a lecture for 14 hours and you guys are sitting there looking at me. Y'all gonna have to raise your hand, just like you do in class if you want to ask a question. If you have something you want to say, just raise your hand and we'll talk about it. Is that cool? Yeah! And you guys gotta talk back to me, okay? Because I don't do the whole spectator sport, that whole thing. So today we're gonna be talking about a bunch of different things. Right? And we're going to start with slavery because I think we need to put things into context. You're going to hear some things that you may agree with and some things that you may not agree with. If you want to raise your hand and make a comment, that's the best way to let me know. You don't need to say boo or I disagree with you, whatever. I'll give you some perspective. I'm one of those people who believes in something completely different. You guys are in an extremely different generation. Right? You guys are in a very pivotal generation. You guys are the generation that I believe is a generation of free thinkers, but at the same time you're being told what to think. You're being told what to believe. And you're reciting it without knowing that you're reciting, if you will, the company line. I want to take some opportunity to start a dialogue because I believe without dialogue there's not going to be any change. Not changing you, not changing me. I don't have all the answers, but I do have a perspective. And I think we should always be open to different perspectives because that's the only way that we change, that's the only way that we grow. So putting some perspective on this, I'm a black man if you haven't noticed, right? Right, so I'm a black man. But learning about slavery, right? Let's go back into slavery. Let's put a perspective on slavery. So here you are, you're an African, you're in Africa. You find yourself in a war, you lose the war. And after losing that war, you find yourself and your tribe being sold to Caucasian Americans. So here you are, you're sold, and you are on a slave ship, and you find yourself coming all the way to America. And when you get to America, you're scared. You don't know anything. You get off of that boat, and half of the people who came on the boat with you died already. And you get off the boat, and you're sitting there in chains, you're sitting there, you're scared, you're all by yourself, and you stand up on this podium in front of a sea full of white people, and those people are staring at you, and you don't know exactly what they're saying, but you hear them and you can see the actions, and you start to understand what's going on. And as you look around you, you start to see, one person says, oh, I got $5, the other person says, no, 10, do I hear 10, do I hear 15, 15 here, no 20, no 20, no 30, 30, 30, 30, do I hear else? No, sold to the man in black. And before you know it, you are sold. And you look to your left, you look to your right, and there's your wife, and there's your child, and they're screaming because you're being ripped and torn away from them, and now you're off to with his family to do God knows what. So you have now been sold to this family. You take this family's name. Whatever your name was, it is no longer and is not that again. Right now, as African Americans, we walk around and told these names. Oh, what's up? I'm the Johnsons. I'm the Phillips. That's not your name. That's the name you've been given. Oh, it's very real. And then it goes a little bit deeper. So they're going, okay, well, how do we get these people and get them into shape so that, yeah, they're here, they're Africans, they're in America, but how do I get them into shape? So I want to make an example out of you. Matter of fact, let's start with you guys. Who's the biggest, strongest in here? Like, who's that dude around here? For real. Nobody can vote for themselves. Somebody tell me, who got hands in here? Who really got hands? Right here? We got hands? Oh, she does? Right? Well, this is what they would do. They would look within the people, and they look at the Africans, and they would say, we're going to pick the biggest and the strongest person. And they would take that biggest and that strongest person, and they say, we're going to humiliate this guy. So they would take this guy, and they would whip this guy, and they would beat this guy. Right in front of his family. Not only that, they would take this man, and then they would take his wife, and they would rape his wife right in front of his face so that his children could see it. Because the idea is, I want to get you in check and get you in control. If that wasn't enough, they would take these same groups of people. These are the stories. This stuff is our history. Whether we like it or not, this is American history. It's the truth, and it has to be told. It has to be talked about. Not so we can stay here, but so that we can know where we're going. Because the people who do not know their history are doomed to repeat the mistakes of it. It is the truth.